Romantic movement was a movement born in the late 70s in London, and it was also called the Peacock Punk movement or the Cult with No Name. It has a huge impact on the British fashion and music industry, and it still is a major inspiration today. To give you a bit of context, Great Britain in the 70s is in a recession, so it's a pretty rough era, especially for the working class, with high unemployment rate and constant electricity blackouts. It initially started in 1978 in a club called Billy's in Soho, London, where every Tuesday night Steve Strange and Rusty Egan from the band Visage were putting on David Bowie Nights. So they would play David Bowie hits, of course, but also glam rock music from the 70s, like bands like Sparks, Roxy Music, also bands like Kraftwerk, for example. The New Romantic movement was a reaction to the punk movement. So rather than focusing on the morosity or the austerity of this era, the New Romantic wanted to escape their reality by going out dancing and have fun and dress up with the craziest outfits. They didn't only dress up for clubbing, being a New Romantic was a 24/7 lifestyle. In 1979, these parties were such a big hit that they decided to move them to another club that was bigger, and this club was in Covent Garden called the Blitz. Steve Strange was working the door, so to get in you'd have to be dressed in the most eccentric way, and he happened to be very selective, so people would have to be more and more creative about their outfits. He once turned down Mick Jagger because he was only wearing a pair of blue jeans and a t-shirt. These parties were attended by young musicians and young artists, but most importantly by St. Martin's School students. Scarlett Cannon, that was a key figure of this movement, said in an interview for Dazed magazine in 2019, "The Blitz Club was a place where anything went, where the lines between gender were obliterated, and the wilder your look was, the better." The New Romantics wore a lot of makeup and sophisticated outfits, and one of the main characteristics of their looks was frilly shirts, ballet pump, white stockings, lots of jewelry, lots of accessories, gloves, crazy hats, bangles, and a lot of layers. Suits was also an element of their outfit, power silhouette, so basically they would wear very big shoulder pads and nipped-in waist. Makeup-wise, they would wear a very fair skin, very bold-colored eyeshadows and contouring, and some of them would also shave their eyebrows to paint over it. The reason why the New Romantics looked the way they looked is due to two main things. The first one being music, so they were inspired by the 70s glam rock bands with the way they played with makeup, clothes, and gender. The second one is the movies, and the New Romantics love old European romantic movies, and they would host all-nighters in specialized movie theaters like the Scala or the Ritz, where they would showcase European art house, and they would show movies like Les Enfants du Paradis by Marcel Carné or Casanova by Fellini. All these characters had androgynous features and dressed with very theatrical costumes. At this time, a lot of them were broke. They were living in squats with no running water, no electricity, and to find the most incredible outfits, they would have to go to flea markets, market, or even find stuff in the trash to make their own creations. Another major thing that played part in the way they looked is the fact that only a few blocks away from the St. Martin's School was Angels, which was a very famed theatrical costumer, and they decided to sell off their old stock, 1920s, 30s, and 40s costume, and they decided to sell them at giveaway prices. So a lot of students went there and bought them, and it was basically the type of costumes their favorite characters from old European movies were wearing. Some of the most emblematic figures of this movement, ended up being either very successful in their field or famous. Steve Strange and Rusty Egan from the band Visage, that both started the Bowie Nights. Boy George of Culture Club. Princess Julia, that was a fashion icon and DJ. Scarlett Cannon, fashion icon, club promoter and model. Stephen Jones became a millionaire and worked for Dior, for example. Judith Franklin is a fashion designer. She actually designed a lot of outfits for the New Romantics, for example, Steve Strange outfits in his music videos. Lee Bowery was a performance artist, club promoter, and fashion designer. A lot of bands came out of the New Romantic movement, such as Spandau Ballet, Duran Duran, Japan. In 1980, David Bowie showed up to the Blitz to hire 4 people to play in his music video Ashes to Ashes. The movement also inspired the creation of 2 very famous magazines such as The Face and ID that are both still active today. In 1981, the movement started to become more mainstream and made it to the national press. It was also the year Vivienne Westwood presented her pirate collection. This collection was deeply inspired by the New Romantic movement and their aesthetic. And in 1984, John Galliano's first collection, that was his graduation show, was also inspired by the New Romantic fashion. It was called Les Incroyables, in reference to Les Incroyables et les Merveilleuses, a Parisian subculture fashion movement during the French Directory. In 1985, the movement had completely dissipated, but the New Romantic movement still is today a major inspiration. And here are a few examples of the last runway shows of 2023. We can find the white tights, the hats, kind of like the pirate hat of Vivienne Westwood, the necklace stackings, very 80s silhouettes with very wide shoulders. For Maison Margiela, the white stockings, suits, white collars. I hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you soon with another movement. Bye!